What up everyone, it's your man Xman87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends related video, and no intro spiel here. This is not a clickbait, this is just speculation for an open, fun discussion that we can all participate in. But I believe we found what I think solves this rock mystery that's been eluding all of us. Big thanks to Instagram user Comic Anime Figs who sent me this image you see on your screen. And well, will you look at that? The rock is identically shaped as the X-Men arcade game that the Sentinels hit you with. When I saw this, a bell just rang in my head like, ding dong, hello, why did I not think of this? Especially since I played that X-Men arcade game 100 times over as a kid. Now, if you guys aren't aware, Ryan Ting is a big fan of those Marvel arcade games, even going back to saying how he wanted the Sky Cycle in the line because of how nostalgic he was for those classic arcade Marvel games. And what did we get? Hawkeye with the Sky Cycle in last year's Avengers 60th anniversary program. If he and the team continues to follow that trend, and we are carefully paying attention to those patterns, and remember, I always say, follow their patterns to get an idea of what would come, then it's safe to say that we will be getting classic X-Men Sentinels. Speaking of patterns, let's go over the recent patterns with their anniversary program. The Infinity Saga program introduced their first true offering in an oversized premium deluxe with Surtur, who was 13 inches tall. Their Avengers 60th anniversary had Super Adaptoid that was 12 inches tall. I predict that the pattern will follow here with the 85 years program, and that will be a 12 to 13 inch Sentinel. That would complete the lineup. Pay attention closely. They said 10 items are a part of the program. So a quick rundown is: first, Astonishing X-Men Wolverine; 2, Superior Spider-Man; 3, Warbird; 4, Danny Ketch Ghost Rider; 5, Heroes for Hire; 6, Scar; 7, Venom; 8, Hulkbuster; 9, Odin, who was leaked; and then 10, that leaves the 10th spot wide open for this Sentinel. Excuse me a second while I take a sip of my tea. Ah, man, I got this severe cold going, so apologies in advance for any of the sniffles you may hear from me. It sucks being sick in this warm season, and yeah, it sucks. But back to what I was saying. Oh yeah, this would work for this size because if you hardcore X-Men fans like me remember that the first appearance Sentinels were 10 feet tall originally. It wasn't until later when they made them bigger into 20 feet, then 30 feet, even to one time 50 feet as their biggest. Well, the arcade game stood true to their classic scaling at 10 feet tall. A 10-foot character's true size in 1/12 scaling would be 12 to 13 inches tall, approximately. No way do I see this being 9 inches tall like a traditional bath size. It would look too small lifting up a big rock, and you need hands big enough to hold that rock firmly because it looks very big. Last thing you need is that being too heavy for a figure to hold, and then it just constantly topples over. 12 inches is the way to go. More height can give it more sturdiness. Actually, come to think of it, it could be a 9-inch bath size because in some perspectives of the game, they did appear a little shorter. So who knows what will be the size, but ideally, it should be 12 to 13 inches tall if they're going to go by their original first appearance scaling. I think this should be billed as the mega item of the line, being taller than Hulkbuster since that figure is already 9 inches tall. I'm hoping they go the 12-inch route. This is smart doing Sentinels because they don't have to label it as X-Men 97, which I still feel like we'll get those at some point that are non-HasLabs. You heard me say this before, that if Transformers Titan class figures of 23 inches tall, like the Nemesis figure for example that costs 200, 23 inches tall, they can make us some 20-inch X-Men 97 Sentinels for less than that, like between 150 to 175. Again, a lot more engineering and technical parts involved with Transformers than a Legends, so common sense says it can be done at that price range for that size. But going back to what I was saying, they don't have to label this as an X-Men 97 or an X-Men arcade game, as it'll be labeled under the 85 years packaging. Holy shit, you guys. Do you realize how great this is? This is a smart move as it'll be the most feasible way to get Sentinels in the main line that will be affordable for army building, because that Surtur and Super Adaptoid ranged between $50 to $70. Surtur being $50, Adaptoid being $70. Easy for them to make, because if you think about it, that's like if they were starting a new 12-inch Marvel Legends line and making a classic Iron Man figure. You'll have smoothed out legs and arms with only the head, chest, gloves, and boots carrying most of the sculpt, but nowhere near having the heavy, intricate details of sculptures that a HasLab would feature. Also, no lights either. We don't need lights or sounds on Sentinels to make a good figure. Take the Toy Biz Sentinel Bat, for example. 16 inches with no lights and sounds, and it stands as one of the greatest Marvel Legends figures of all time, because they were just focused on making a great action figure with just sculpt and paint. Nothing extra needed. I know Arcade Sentinels is something I've seen many ask for in the line. This is a great way for those who missed out on the original Toy Biz Bath or the Marvel Universe later reissued 2 Legends, and of course the HasLab, to finally add Sentinels to their collection. Also, if the scaling is indeed 12 to 13 inches to match that of a classic Sentinel, I know some collectors are trying to create their Marvel vs. Capcom rosters with the Capcom figures Jada Toys are making. This will also fit the bill of that scaling. It'll also go perfect for those who display their HasLab Sentinel as Master Mold in their collection, such as myself. You know how many people would army build something like this between $50 to $80 approximately? So many. I wouldn't complain about that pricing at all. As collectors, we should all rejoice that we are getting Sentinels that would be accessible. Again, this is all off of speculation, but if indeed true, can't be mad about it, because multiple chances are a good thing in the hobby. I'm expecting, along with the big rock accessory, that it'll include fists, open grabbing hands, obviously, if they are going to hold the rock like the game, and maybe a battle damaged head or chest plate to swap. Also, maybe a few blast effects, and hopefully they can throw in at least one tentacle with a bendy wire. I think this could be one of their best offerings ever if done right. I've seen many people use those vintage 3-inch line retro carded Sentinels that stand at like 8 inches tall, or the Titans line Sentinels that are about 14 inches as fillers for that classic comic / arcade style look in their collections. Those are very stiff with that 5 POA system, so having something that'll be fully articulated to Legend standard is going to be batshit crazy good. That's it for me. Gonna rest up as this cold is kicking my ass. I was going to power through another review yesterday like I did with the Morbius review, but I couldn't. You couldn't even tell in that video I sounded sick, but I had to listen to my body and take a nap. But I was going to review the Shield 3-pack or one of the Iron Mans from the Retro Wave, which leads me to a question for you guys. For the Iron Man Mark 1 Gold, Model 20, and Model 9 reviews, would you like to see them all individually on their own, or review all 3 of them in one video? Sure, one by one will give me more revenue as I'll have more content, but I also care about providing the best review experience for my viewers. Just a thought until I overcome whatever the hell I have going on. I'd like to hear your thoughts, but yeah, anyways, can't stop thinking about the possibility of those arcade Sentinels. I expect the reveal on that last 85 years item around San Diego Comic-Con probably. Again, big thank you to Comic Anime Figs for providing me with the image and communicating this to me on Instagram. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think about the Rock teaser being classic X-Men arcade Sentinels? Do you think this solves the Rock mystery, or do you still think it's something else? Again, don't take this as confirmation, only speculation, but I can't see it being anything else now that I see how it's exactly identical in design. And would you be down for the pricing to be between $50 to $80? I think this will cause great positive buzz around the line, especially with the X-Men craze lately from X-Men 97. A lot of collectors are craving X-Men more than anything. It's great timing on their part. So I don't know what the official price may be. I'm just throwing the $50 to $70 price range out there. But if that is the ballpark price for 12 to 13-inch Sentinels, then I'm totally down for this. Anyways, let's just have a fun convo, and remember to keep it civil amongst each other in the comments. Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Have a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend with your family. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xman87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next video. Peace.